and welcome everyone to episode 22 of Rime of the Frost Maiden. We're here for another week of Dungeons and Dragons. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right.
You betcha.
Very enthusiastic, everyone.
Okay, first off, I agree with Chris. All tea is just leaf water as much as all coffee is just bean water. It's the same thing. It's just vegetables soaked in water, all ground up.
Sweet tea is the only acceptable tea.
As someone who enjoys Earl Grey, I will disagree. That's unsweet.
Hot tea is good under certain circumstances. Like, I really like it when I'm not feeling well, or...
Hot tea can be sweet tea. You just put honey in it.
Well, you're not supposed to desecrate Earl Grey with honey.
Yes, you are.
It's still very different than sweet tea, though.
Very much so. All I know is that the correct way to order Earl Grey is Earl Grey tea Earl Grey hot.
Captain Picard, love it.
Yeah. There's no sweet in there.
It's understood.
True.
Tea Earl Grey hot.
He expects the honey.
No, I mean, why would they do that? They're not supposed to gain weight while on a starship that changes off their mass and how much fuel they have to use to get from one galaxy to the next. It's a whole ordeal. It's a zero-sum game. In any case,
We'd like to thank you all for joining the very last episode of Rime of the Frost Maiden. It's apparently this is the hill we all die on.
the tea discussion, yes. In any case, let's see. I see we've already plugged the tavern in chat. Chris, if you want to elaborate on what the tavern is and what kind of a community is run there.
Yeah, of course. Facebook's a garbage fire, but our group is pretty cool. We post memes. We do a contest right now. We're giving away a $50 gift card to either Wormwood Gaming, Heartbeat, Dice, or Hero Forge, whatever you choose. You just got to win the Meme of the Month contest. This month exclusively, we are doing 5 entries per person. Normally, you can't win if you've won within the last 30 days. Since we took about a 2-month hiatus, that's obviously not the case. So anyone can enter, just has to be an original meme created by you. Come in, share some memes, make some memes, have some fun, and maybe find yourself a game. The Tavern, it's the only good place on Facebook.
Hey.
I would concur. Facebook is absolutely a garbage fire. And we're getting into the summer season, and we don't need that kind of stuff around us. But $50 to Hero Forge? Man, that would be sick. Gotta step up my meme game.
Yeah, I mean, that could get you a one of their new colored standard minis, so.
I really want to look into getting a 3D printer because their schematics is just like $8. So that's like, 5, 6 different figurines of whatever plastic you supply.
Yeah, I looked into one with the stimulus. Unfortunately, we just don't have the room for it right now. But once we get all moved and settled, absolutely, I'll be investing in one.
Yeah, it seems like such a great idea. For any household, it seems like there's always a use for it. Let's see. You can find Brian Gavalarian or Carcass in this campaign on Twitter at Gavalarian, as spelled in the chat. When you see his name coming by, he's a participant in the chat during the game. He's a pretty knowledgeable guy, and you can pick up some tips and all that good stuff D&D related from him on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, Samson Paul. Same name if you haven't already. And if you're new here, buckle in and sit tight. We're about ready to go into the recap if there's nothing else from anybody. Should we do the popcorn recap? I wonder. Yes,
No.
Let's do it. What happened last week, Matt?
he had a baby.
He had a baby.
Baby.
Baby hype in the chat.
Yeah. So, Wells, or Table Tale's youngest viewer ever, it was 23 hours and 20 minutes old.
I would say that would be a Table Tales record. 100%. Oh,
I think he got a t-shirt. Just saying.
t-shirt. Should we put Zizix on the sleeve? And like that meme for Sturdy that I made, just replace Sturdy with baby.
Oh yeah. or he has a potion that gives someone a new baby smell.
Oh. All right.
Smells like Cheerios and vomit.
That's not how babies smell. It's been a while since I've sniffed a baby, but I'm willing to believe it does not smell like that.
You're right. There's poop in there too.
Yeah. that brings the palate back into normal range, I guess. All right. Well, last week on D&D, the party confronted Shandar and were able to allow him to exit the mead hall without losing his life and being essentially excommunicated from good mead. Allowed him to leave on his own accord without bringing any physical harm to anybody, for out of the goodness of their hearts or in their lack of spell slots available, and undetermined which is the true cause. And then Lek was able to tail them out a little bit and imitate his or disguise himself into being a bandit to get some extra information from him and also a piece of chocolate out of the deal. But after that, there was some research being done by Lysander and Lek in the library, and they split up duties on questions that they wanted to ask the librarian, but eventually that conversation evolved into how to kill a deity by not throwing a punch, by just trying to convince the existing believers of Oral the Frost Maiden into believing something else, and slowly chopping away at the tree trunk that is her base of worship, which the librarian seems to be a promising theory, but some concern grew about how fast and rapidly that had to grow without making a single city a target for an attack. But from there, the party had reconvened, and let's see, there was some fishing being done out by the river. What else was going on? I can't recall. There was another group was doing something. Don't remind me. Who would that have been? I guess that would have been Vega.
I went shopping.
Shopping. That's what you guys did. That's right. And where? Oh, thank you, Shannon. There was a snowball fight over at over on the river, I believe, between Carcass and Andy.
That's true.
Let's see. There was a discussion once everyone came back after Silas had purchased a new set of armor for no real gain other than his personal comfort, which is paramount to himself at the moment. From there, the party reconvened and decided to set out for Dugan's Hole to try to figure out what was going on with the two wolves that seemed to be laying siege to the town. Once they made it out there after a 3 to 4 hour journey, they were confronted by the wolves, who was feigning an injury, what seemed like, and that wolf seemed to forget which paw he was favoring, and a discussion was had. The wolf was trying to lie, but Andy was able to suss out the lies, and eventually they were able to come to the conclusion that they were on the run from their abusive owner, who they were trying to get people to go rescue people that Garagai had taken hostage from the town, but they hadn't found any takers. So the party followed them, enduring a pack of wild wolves that the winter wolves had feared off with their snarls and growls, and an impromptu blizzard came by, to which the wolves provided a makeshift shelter for the party to sit in the middle of them while they rode it out, eventually coming to a large icy dome that looked fit for a giant. And inside, Vega had turned into was it a spider this time? I think it was a spider. Crawling around and located the prisoners within the first door on the left. Continued down and find a frost giant who had been slain and was chopped up into many, many different incisions and pieces of himself. Nothing else to really note on his body from what he could see. Moving through and exploring the rest of that lodge, where he found the statue of the Chewinga, the potentially 3 kobolds that are hiding in that dining room, and then a large rotting whale carcass, before coming back and informing the party what they wanted to do, or what he found. There was a discussion about what the next steps were. I think that's going to be where we drop in, unless anyone else can think of anything to add. Sounds good. So, we pick up in the cold of night, outside the outskirts of Dugan's Hole. A light snow falling overhead, the party standing outside this large icy dome, and the winter wolves standing guard about 150 feet away, keeping a watch out for anyone who might be coming towards the lodge. So, what would your guys' plan of action be? What's your next steps?
If I recall, I believe we were just shy of visiting a mammoth of some sort.
Yes, the mammoth was in the room with the slain giant who was snoozing.
Adriana, a thought occurs to me.
Yeah?
There is a good chance this large beast in the other room kills us. Perhaps we shouldn't wait until afterwards to get those we need to rescue on their way.
It's true. You have a good point.
Well, who do you suggest we keep? Preferably the most useless members can go.
Me? I mean, I didn't say anyone's useless, Silas. But we definitely want them to be safe. Let's see. Would anyone like to take them?
All right. Yeah, so once Andy poses that question, Vega, Eclipse, and Lysander kind of step forward, and Lysander tips his hat, and he says, "I'd be much obliged to walk these prisoners back to town. Might do us some good to split us up and cut our losses if things start to go bad."
Sounds good then.
All right. Well, tips his hat. Much obliged, as he starts to walk over towards the prisoners. Are you guys going as a group to meet these prisoners?
I suppose we should all go with. At least that way they don't take all the credit.
Well, not only that, but maybe they'll have some information we could use before we plunge into what's ahead.
It's true.
So, you guys turn the corner and go into this icy dome. Just everything's made of snow, and you see ahead of you a large animal cage that has a locked gate. It's very old, solid steel cage. And you see two young individuals. They're not quite of adult age yet, but pretty close. One male, one female, and they look at you with wide eyes as you see one of them is a spindly girl with fairly pointed teeth as her mouth keeps chattering, and they both seem to be extremely cold. The male, on the other hand, has the piebald face with small malformed ears, and as he grasps onto the cage, you see that his hands from the base knuckle up have been inflicted with frostbite and have started to turn purplish black.
Can I use a healing spell to fix that?
Make a medicine check.
That's an 18.
So you know that a condition like frostbite wouldn't be immediately healable by any of your spells. That's a long-term injury that takes a lot of time and recovery to get past.
Okay, then she'll just wrap his hands as best she can for him.
And he, as you start to approach, he pulls his hand back and he says, "Who are you?"
My name is Andy. I'm a cleric. I just thought I'd wrap your hands for you so that once we escort you back to town, your frostbite won't get worse. You'll need
Apologies.
to gradually warm your hands, not quickly.
She gets grabby when she's excited.
And he says, "Andy, my name's Finn," and he's continuing to just look extremely cold. His left hand is actually much worse off than his right hand for whatever reason, and you start to see the amount of damage there, and his fingertips may be unsalvageable at this point, but you can do what you can to save the rest of his hand.
Yeah, I'll preserve him as best I can by just wrapping him real well for him and telling him you need to see a doctor right when you get to the city.
And he nods and he says, "Can you get us out?"
Yes.
And he looks over at the lock and he says, "That's a big lock. It's a lock made for a giant."
And we have the key, don't we?
No.
I couldn't remember if we got the key or not.
No, I don't think there was a key retrieved, because that would mean the druid was carrying the key back as a spider. If one
Above.
exists.
Above table, what is the lock made of?
It's metal. Some sort of metallic lock.
Adriana, if you'll allow me, I think I can take care of this lock.
Sure.
All right. On second thoughts, I didn't really think this through before volunteering. I don't want to shatter metal on our new friends, so perhaps my method would not be the best. I was going to cast shatter, but I realized that's a foolish choice at this point.
You're about to throw a grenade.
Fucking kill them.
You're about to throw a grenade into this prison cell. Oh,
Till I
that's
thought
funny.
about the spell. Forgive me. Perhaps we should go frisk the dead giant.
Yes, let's do that. We'll be back, and these three will stay with you to make sure you're safe.
Hold on now, Adriana. I think I have a thought.
What's that?
Vega, you're rather strong, aren't you?
Didn't Vega? Oh yeah, he's still here. Yeah, Vega.
Well, you see, I'm quite big, but I'm not very good with my hands and my strength, you know?
Perhaps, but could you not heat this metal? Perhaps between you and Carcass, if it is a little warmer, it might give a bit of way.
That's probably a good idea, I say. And he uses his... he summons his elemental fire elephant, and he sits inside of the cell. And he motions over to him to get right up next to one of the bars. And he kind of looks back to you and he says, might take a minute to heat up enough, you know? But you might have something here.
Perfect. And then when that's done, Carcass, you could probably pull the bars apart. The children should be able to slip through and head back over to see... Oh, blast, what was her name? Edgra. Let her know of the good deed Salus's angels did for them, and perhaps help smooth things out, since we never officially met with them to take on this job to begin with.
Yes, and Carcass, let me wrap your hands so you don't burn yourself. And she's gonna, like, thickly wrap his hands.
Okay. I will put my hands out for her to wrap.
Alright. Go ahead and give me a survival check, Andy.
That's a 12.
Yeah, you sufficiently wrap his hands. Carcass, if you would like to bend apart the metal, make a strength check.
Oh, I was gonna check one more thing
Oh, sure.
but could I surmise if this might make any noise or anything if we do try to bend it open? I just kind of thought that we do still have that mammoth to deal with.
So you do notice that there is a lot of collection of rust on the hinges of the door, but not so much anything with the bars. It doesn't seem to have rusted there, and as they're normally not movable, they might squeak a bit, but it's hard to say depending on how warm they are.
Okay, I was just looking through my equipment. I saw I had a flask of oil. I was curious if I might be able to use that to aid with anything.
If you guys were going to open the door, you would think to use the flask of oil on the hinges there, but on the vertical bars, probably not so much a place to put them there. Unless you wanted to light the bars on fire, that could be, you know, totally something you could do.
No, that might kill the kids. Okay, then. Yeah, let's just do the bars. Proceed, Carcass.
That is only an 11.
Unfortunately, these bars are still pretty sturdy and you're not able to get much give.
Maybe we should just leave them here.
No, Carcass, let's try again. I believe in you, old friend, and I'd like to go ahead and grant him some inspiration.
There you go.
Okay, I will try again. So before the inspiration, that is a 15.
That is
If you want to add it...
What?
Never mind. Go ahead. I would say if you want to add it, yeah, you have a d6, if you want to be sure.
Yep, that is just enough as Carcass really puts his leverage into it, and the fire elemental elephant is continuing to warm up the base of the bars, and you start to get a little bit of movement. You don't move it a whole lot, but you get another 3 inches maybe of space between the two sides.
Okay, that seems like enough to me. And I will just stop trying to bend them.
And the 2 individuals inside of the cage, they wait for the elemental elephant to back out, and they put their heads through, and the female, she says, this'll do. And she gets out quite easily, and she says, come, Finn. And Finn, very hesitatively, with his arms clutched in together, pressed up to his chest, tries to shimmy through. And he's able to do so. 2 prisoners are released. The female, she says, thank you so much. I really just want to get back home. It's so cold out here.
Our friends will help you get there.
Yep. As Lysander takes a step forward, don't you worry about this nun. We'll get you back home just fine. Much obliged.
Vega, I'm sure we can count on you to keep them warm. Finn and... I'm sorry, what was your name, child?
I didn't give it. My name's Silja.
Silja. I will remember that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll keep them warm just fine. We'll have our elephant friend here walking right next to him. And Lysander motions for the 2 prisoners to, well, not prisoners now, the 2 individuals, start walking ahead of him, and he says, don't worry, we'll have your 6. And Eclipse and Vega and Lysander start to escort prisoners back home. Leaving Carcass, Lek, Andy, Zizix, and Silas inside of this large frozen dome.
That was a brilliant plan, Adriana.
Huh? Oh, it wasn't really my plan. It was sort of yours, Silas.
Yes, but you brought me along, now wasn't it? That shows leadership.
Andy looks absolutely perplexed, but she just kind of smiled.
Well, shall we proceed on to the next room?
Sounds good to me. I assume if the mammoth charges us, we should take it down. If not, perhaps we can utilize it and bring it back for the people to use.
Yes, it's a shame our animal whisperer won't be with us to talk to the mammoth, but well, these things happen.
Yes, well, if it can't be a mount, it can certainly serve as meat.
Or another coat. Still unused to this cold.
We could always try playing it a little song as well.
Very true.
I believe in your ability to do just that.
Thank you very much, Hawk, for the sub gifted to Bach Talks. It's very generous of you. I appreciate that very much. I'm sure he does too. He has access to all the cool emotes that are available on that tier. Which, is it Carcass? Did I switch it to Carcass? Or is it the Nat 20?
It is the Nat 20. Carcass is level 2.
That means you're a tier 2 sub, Gavalarian? Oh boy.
I am indeed.
I'm gonna be switching that up, I think. We're probably gonna make room for more character portraits to be the emotes as opposed to that nat 20. There's enough nat 20s out there on the market, I think. In any case, thank you very much, Hawk, again. You guys start to make your way out of this prison room, this little area of the lodge. There's no doors here. The only way out is the way you came. So you guys start to make your way out, I assume.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. And as you guys start to go towards that main entrance in the middle, you start to approach and you take a look and you see that this is a 70-foot hallway, more or less. And at the very top of this hallway, you see that there are icicles just hanging down from above, from where ice had been melting from the heat provided in the center, assumingly, and filtered out into the open and started forming these large ice crystals overhead. And as you guys-
Definitely want to be careful not to dislodge those.
As you speak, you actually see an icicle crash down in front of you and stick into the snow that's embedded into the ground. And that icicle is probably about the size of a dagger or so.
Fair point, Adriana. Lek winks.
So,
how do we wish to handle this mammoth?
Well, I say we approach with caution at first and see if we can't tame it to our uses. If not, meat and coats it is.
you want to pull the microphone away from your mouth a little bit?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, so mammoth taming isn't really my forte. Does anyone have any relevant taming experience with mammoths?
Absolutely not, but if I play it to tune, we might become friends.
Yes.
I'm fairly decent with animals. I wouldn't mind assisting.
Oh, this should be good. You two working together.
Shall we give it a try?
We should approach cautiously at first and see if we can get by without waking it. At least have a look around. But yes,
If only I brought the popcorn.
Sounds good to me. And she'll proceed as cautiously as possible, but with her armor, actually, she's going to say, my armor is not the most stealthy of things. Perhaps I should take up the rear.
Right, of course. I'll go ahead with Silas.
Andy will kind of stick close to Carcass.
All right. As you guys are stealthing forward, can I get a group stealth check from yourself, Andy, Zizix, Lek, Carcass, and Silas?
Oh, I got a nat 20.
Wow.
well, I got a natural 1, but +2, so 3.
Dirty 20 for Lek.
Okay.
Marcus got an 11.
All right. Did Zizix have to step away?
Sorry, I got a 19.
Okay. Yeah, very good. All decent rolls except for some. As you guys start to progress quietly through this main chamber, your movement is not triggering any sort of icicle crash or anything like that. And you start to move down this chamber and you see this large mammoth laying on its side, and through its trunk blows snow kind of up in a dusting, and then as it settles back down, seemingly as it finishes inhaling, it settles down back at the ground, and another exhale, and another dust cloud of snow pushes forward. So it does not seem to notice you.
All right.
DM, there was a throne in this room, correct?
Yes, further down past the mammoth and closer to the remains of the frost giant, there was a throne, or there is a throne.
Would one have to walk fairly close to the mammoth to get to the throne?
To get to the throne, let's take a look at this map here. So there is a... Let's see. You can keep to the edges of the walls here and make your way across, and then safely keep your distance from the mammoth while it sleeps to get to the throne.
Okay, well, while Adriana and Silas dick around with the mammoth, I think I'll go inspect the throne.
All right, and we'll use your existing stealth roll for that.
Perfect.
What would you guys? Go ahead.
No, nothing. Continue.
Dirty 20. Dirty 20.
Yes.
So what would you guys like to do with the mammoth?
Andy's gonna kind of look around and see if there's any equipment for the mammoth, like like a harness or something.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Another natural 20.
Let me check the logs on that. Yep, checks out. Ridiculous. In any case, so unfortunately not. You don't spot any harnesses or anything like that, but you do see, as you kind of glance over at Garagai, that any equipment that he would have had on him is no longer with him. No weapon, no satchel, no bag. It looks like he was looted whenever he was killed. Just the lack of equipment and your knowledge of what frost giants usually have on their persons.
Besides a frosty disposition.
Then Andy will kind of look to Silas and see if he wants to start playing. And that's how to wake him up, because it seems like it would be more gentle than a voice.
I suppose it's something I can do. Absolutely.
All right. So as you're about to take out your lute and start playing your song, and Lek, I need you to make an Arcana check as you approach the throne.
Okay. That would be a 18.
It definitely seems to be emanating some sort of runic power as you take note of the rune that's engraved into the headpiece of this throne. You see what Vega had told you earlier was called ice. It's the rune for ice. And there's definitely some sort of magical energy about it as you graze your hand close to the ice that this throne is made out of, and you feel that energy.
Would it be possible for me to sit on the throne?
You can certainly try that if you'd like.
Well, there's no time like the present, Lex says to himself. And I assume I have to hop up onto the throne.
Yes, it is very large. You won't have to make an athletics check, but it is quite a hop to get up there. And Andy and Silas and Zizek's Carcass, you all see Silas start to sit on the icy throne.
You mean Lek?
Sorry, Lek. New players getting interchanged. Apologies.
It's due to our absolutely ravishing voices, I'm sure. The dulcet tones we spit.
Indubitably.
Yeah, you're probably right. Might have something to do with that. But in any case, you all see Lek sitting on the throne. And it's it's not the most comfortable seat you've ever taken, Lek. It's quite cold.
Ah. Huh. It's more chilly than majestic up here. Woo. Cha-cha.
So,
I'd say a large throne suits you.
Oh. Why, thank you, my good friend. To be honest, I was hoping it would trigger something, but it looks like it's just a throne that has some kind of power.
go ahead and make an investigation check as you're starting to look around as you're seated.
Okay. Ah, good. 6.
So you definitely feel like that something is happening as you sit on this throne. Your rear end starts to get a little bit colder, but you feel colder in your limbs, but it doesn't quite hurt. You get the sensation without the discomfort, if that makes sense.
Okay, yes.
You take a little bit of time to take all this in over the next minute or so. Would you guys like to try to wake the mammoth up now?
I'm actually a little invested in Lex cold hours right now. I kind of want to wait.
Andy will just wait till Silas is ready.
Okay. So as you guys all take a look over at Lek and he's taking it in, Lek, after a minute, you feel a charge of energy course through your veins, a very cold energy, and it's waiting to be released. Make another Arcana check.
Okay. Oh, good. Critical miss. That will be a nat 1.
You feel like that this energy is continuing to build up inside you, and it's going to build and build until you turn into something that you're not even sure of what's going to happen. You might turn into something might happen to you, but regardless, that energy is inside of you and it needs to be released.
Everyone, I just want you to know that something is happening, but I have no clue what. Feels like when I was a virgin.
Perhaps you should hop off of it. I'd hate to see you turn into a statue of some kind.
Andy nods.
I don't know if it's that simple, but suppose it's worth a try. And I will then hop off, or try to hop off of the throne.
So as you start to exert your muscles to try to pull yourself up off the throne, you feel the coldness release, and you feel it emanate from your chest, and it goes upward. This this immense cold, it brushes right by your face as it rises up. And you see that it goes up through the chimney chute up at the very top of the lodge. And then you start feeling normal.
Now that's very interesting. Zizix, what do you make of this?
Like, do I see or sense anything?
Well, nothing was visible that you could have seen, except that he had some sort of surge of energy. It looked like he was reacting to, and he immediately looked up and then was overcome by relief.
Yes, when I was seated on the throne, I felt like a charge was building in my body and something was going to happen, so I got off, and the minute I did, I felt like the charge exploded upwards and just missed me. Not really sure what the purpose of such a charge would be. What do you think?
What? Well, let me go take a look.
Of course.
You guys okay with waiting for a little bit? This may take some time. I've never seen something quite like this.
No, please. I'm sure we can continue working on the mammoth while you examine it.
As long as we don't awaken it, we have plenty of time.
So Zedix is going to cast Detect Magic as a ritual
Okay.
in his usual fashion.
Mm-hmm. Doing the little rain dance around the throne. It's quite a large throne, so it's a large ring. Or was that
It
just
takes
for
some-
identify?
It's kind of the both kind of thing.
Okay.
Whenever he casts a spell as a ritual, that's kind of his action in a sense.
All right. And over the course of 10 minutes, because you're casting as a ritual, everyone is content to just sit idly by and allow him to do his thing.
Yes.
After about 5 minutes, I'm going to collect some snow up and make a couple of snowballs. And
Okay.
then I'm going to try and see how close I can throw one to the mammoth without hitting it.
All right. Go
Do we
ahead.
see Carcass doing that?
You see Carcass starting to gather snow, yes.
Carcass? Carcass?
Yes.
We shouldn't throw snowballs yet. We want to make sure the mammoth stays asleep.
Oh, but I could just talk to him.
But if you miss, you might hit him, and then we'd be in trouble. Let's wait, and we'll have a snowball fight after, okay?
Oh, okay. And I will keep rolling up snowballs.
Okay.
And if she does not watch me the whole time, I will still throw one.
I'll watch him.
So your eyes are fixed on Carcass the whole time, since he's still
Yeah.
continuing to make snowballs.
Yeah.
All right.
Once again, I would love to commend you on your amazing leadership, Adriana.
He's like, I'm not really the leader, you know. All while watching Carcass.
Could have fooled me.
Carcass, you see that Andy's eyes quickly break to glance over at Silas before seemingly starting to move back towards you. Do you quickly and stealthily try to throw a snowball?
There is nothing stealthy about it. I just quickly grab one and throw it.
Okay, go ahead and make a dexterity check, and your goal is that you want to just miss the mammoth, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that is an 8.
So you toss that snowball, and it lands directly on the tusk of the mammoth, determined by a d8. And it does not move.
I will start to laugh.
Carcass!
And did you see that?
Yes, but don't throw any more snowballs.
It must be very tired.
Yes, leave it alone. Let it sleep.
Okay, but that was a lot of fun.
Leadership.
Oh. And at about this time, Zizix, you definitely detect magic emanating from this throne.
And what type would that be?
Conjuration magic.
Without kind of stopping my rain dance after I've detected that it is actually magical, can I attempt to cast Identify as a ritual?
You certainly can.
And that's what I'd like to do.
All right. Everybody roll a perception check, except for Zizix, who is quite busy.
I got an 18 for Andy.
That would be a 2 plus 1, though, so 3.
15 for luck.
All right.
And I got a 2.
With that,
Oh boy.
Andy and Lek, you start to catch wind of some sort of whistling noise that's coming from behind you, back towards the entrance.
I'm going to very slowly turn around.
Me too.
As you gaze out that front door, you see that it is just white. Even though it's dark outside, you just see snow flying past that door with such energy that you have not seen in a storm so far in your journeys in the 10 towns.
Adriana, I have a theory.
What is it?
Well, when I was on that throne, as I sat there, I felt a lot of energy building, and when I got off, I felt the energy go up through the hole in the roof. And now, as an effect, it appears that there is a tremendous amount of snow outside. I think the throne makes it snow a lot.
That is interesting. I really hope it's not going to hurt our friends. And she kind of walks a little closer to the throne to inspect it. Is there a way we could possibly turn it off? And she looks to Zizix.
With his rain dance going, he's not in a communicative state, I would say.
I have a suggestion, if you trust me.
I always trust you, friend.
What's that?
Well, if this thing is creating a blizzard, and it seems that blizzards seem to be what are making life difficult for people around here, perhaps it's best that it just can no longer create blizzards. We could destroy it. And maybe our big friend here could help.
I do have a perfect spell to accomplish such a destructive purpose. No.
I'm not opposed to that. I think we should wait for Zizix to finish his examination, just in case doing so might hurt somebody.
Very well. Just kidding.
But I think
Yes, once
I think
Zizix finishes
stopping
his ye old hokey pokey, we can move on.
that's what we're calling it from now on. It's canon.
Hold on. I don't think you have canon privileges.
I have every privilege, bitch.
Damn.
DM
All right.
above table. Can that please be canon?
I say that's canon, yes.
I knew I had privileges.
In any case, time continues to pass, and the whistling becomes a light roaring, a subtle, very white noise-ish type of roar as the wind passes by. The icicles you see start to get disheveled and start to fall at the main entrance. And Zizix, you complete your identification ritual. So, you're able to tell that most all of this magic emanates from that rune that is engraved into the throne, and it has imbued its own power to create and summon a blizzard into sitting and using the power within. These blizzards can last for 8 hours to 2 weeks. 8 hours to a 10-day, 1 week. And it recharges its ability to do so after one whole 10-day.
So you said that. So you said that it pulls the power from the rune.
The rune that's engraved into the throne, the ice rune.
So after I find that with my rain dancing, I'm just gonna stop dead in my tracks and just Zizix is gonna start scratching his head.
What is it, Zizix?
This has some magic behind it.
We think it may be causing the blizzard outside, and we were hoping to find a way to put a stop to it.
Oh, it's definitely causing the blizzard, all right. This thing, could be. Just gonna start trailing off in his own thoughts and starts mumbling out loud.
Hey, Zizix. How could we stop it from doing this blizzard thing?
Zizix is gonna like put up his hand as he's still like doing calculations in his head, and he's still mumbling. And he said, and you hear him mumble, "Hey, carry the one," and he keeps going.
I wonder, do you suppose our deity with sexual preferences is using a device such as this to make it snow so much?
I was wondering the same thing when you presented your idea. Possibly. She may have more than one of these lying around.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, guys, so there could be a couple of different ways to skin this cat. I'm kind of
I will not
On
be
the
skinning a
fence.
cat.
on the fence about doing anything.
Explain.
What do you mean? Our friends are out there and it's storming horribly.
So this thing, it has definitely more power than anything I've seen. My fear is that if we do something or mess with it, whatever created it might not be too happy.
I think whatever created it is dead in front of us. And I'll motion over to the giant or whatever it is.
The frost giant,
Ah.
yes.
I think the connection to Oral is too strong to simply give him all of the credit.
usually this kind of power, I don't know.
So essentially, if we were to destroy this thing, we would have to consider whether or not we are ready as a group to say screw you to a god.
Poor choice of words.
Or is it the exact right choice?
Oh, it always is for me.
I mean, it's in a roundabout way, but yeah. And
I've
then
been doing that since the day I was born, according to my mother.
So it's more of a matter of we're not quite at the point where we'd like to draw that much attention from Oral. Not yet. Am I right?
Perhaps, but I am also concerned about our friends and those kids.
so here's the deal. You said you like there was a charge that went through you?
Yes, I felt it building in me until I got off of the throne.
Okay, so from what I gather, this thing creates the blizzard. Now, the amount of time is a little sketchy, but it can last from a couple of hours to a full 10-day. You know, that's just if my math is correct anyways. But it seems kind of random. And then this chair has a recharge of a 10 days, so it would be kind of hard to know when it was used. And not only that, but who else will use it? Sam,
I think-
or above table, Sam, would Zizix know how it functions, or just what it does?
You would know from your identify spell how long it takes to attune to the throne. You have to sit there for about a minute to gather the energy, and then you can either choose to activate the power, which Lek did accidentally, being unfamiliar with or having a bad Arcana check, and then as far as how it works, you know the magic is emanating from the rune that is inscribed on the throne, which you recognize as old giant magic.
Right. But it's not like the user has to have like a keyword or anything like that. It's just
No, it's just channeling that energy upward.
okay. So then Zizix will say, so that energy that you felt running through you, you actually started this blizzard.
Oh. Whoops.
So
how do we stop it?
you don't. It stops itself between a few hours and a whole 10-day.
And we don't think destroying the throne early may be able to stop the blizzard?
Sam, above table, do I sense that the ruin is constantly active, I guess, to see if it's a channeling magic?
So as you were doing that investigation with your identify, you know that it's a built-up charge that gets released into the air as a single bolt, essentially, and not a channeling magic.
Right. Okay, good. So then Zix will start scratching his head and say, yeah, I don't think it works like that. It kind of is like a volcano, you know? Once it's erupted, it's erupted. It's out there. So, if we destroy it, it would prevent future ones happening, but what's done is done.
Well, we might not be able to save our friend, but we could perhaps save others who are passing by.
Yes, that's true.
I certainly know what Lysander would want to do in this situation. Given the connection to Oral, I'm sure he'd want to destroy it immediately as well. I, on the other hand... Yeah, why wait?
Hey Sam, how big is the ruin, like in size?
The rune or the room with an M?
Ruin with an N.
Oh, okay. That's probably gonna be like maybe a foot by a foot.
How about this? We take it with us.
And how do you propose we do that?
Well, I mean, the magic is just in the ruin itself, so let's just cut around it and take it with us.
That's a rather large throne, and I don't know about you, but even standing on it, I don't believe I could reach the top.
Oh, I'm not talking about the entire throne. Just around where that ruin is.
Is the rune located on the top, or where's the rune located? I guess in my
it's-
head, I'm visioning it at the top.
Yeah, it's at the top, kind of like maybe a foot or two below the arch at the very back of the chair.
Well, I do not have the tools or means to do such a feat. I'd assume you or someone else does, though?
Sam, what is the ruin inscribed in? Sorry, I'm fuzzy on the throne.
Sure.
Nothing-
So you would recognize this as being written in giant, and it's just the symbol for ice.
Okay, what kind of material is the ruin on?
Ice.
Oh, it is. Okay.
This whole throne is made out of ice.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You're good. You weren't here last week.
Okay. The next will say, "You guys talk amongst yourselves. Let me think for a second."
Fair enough.
I maintain it can be destroyed or broken. If we want to keep the rune, then we just need to take it away. After we take down the back, it should be simple.
Well, if it's ice, any blunt tool should probably do the trick with enough force.
That's true.
Or fire, but unfortunately we left our fire druid away. I could douse it in oil and someone else could light a match.
I can make fire a little bit.
I would
That's
like
an idea.
everyone to roll perceptions at this time.
Zizix will, while we're doing that, Zizix will interject. No, we can't use fire. That will melt it.
17.
Andy got a 21.
17 for Lek as well. Twinsies.
That's a nat 20.
Oh boy.
Because Zizix won.
I got the 2.
Carcass, you're just, you're making more snowballs, I think.
Oh, yeah, I never stopped.
Carcass
You've
and
got-
his balls.
You've got a pile of snowballs at the ready whenever Andy turns her back. But the rest of you hear some voices coming from deeper inside of the lodge, and you hear three different voices in a conversation. Hey, quiet! Do you hear those voices? Yeah, maybe they took care of the mammoth. We can leave. Oh, I don't know. We should probably just stay here. No, let's go. Let's sneak out.
Forgot about the kobolds Vega mentioned. Can we see them or just hear them?
You just hear them at this point.
Would anyone care to come with me and investigate our kobold friends? Question mark.
Sure.
Very good.
And is anyone else going?
I'll stay behind in case the mammoth wakes up.
Carcass, Zizix?
Yeah, Zizix is staying. He's trying to think of how to do this.
Yes, I have more snowballs to make.
All right. So Andy and
Well.
Lek start. Go ahead. Sorry,
Well,
Chris.
okay then.
All right.
That was all I was going to say. And
Okay.
scene.
And that was Lek.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. Tea went down the wrong windpipe. So Lek and Andy start to make your way down that hallway, and from around the corner, you see a very tall person in a trench coat, this Dragonborn, and immediately upon looking at you, you hear him say, "Ha! I thought I was the I thought I was the only one in this place. Hail, strangers."
Above table, we can obviously tell it's 3 kobolds in a trench coat, correct?
Well, go ahead and roll investigation at insight at advantage, since you had been given that information that there were 3 kobolds. You would have advantage on identifying them,
Both of us roll insight?
unless you're happy to acknowledge them as the Dragonborn.
My second
I got
roll
a 24.
was a 17.
Yeah, and both of those are able to see through that there's a gap in the trench coat, and you see another set of arms that are just barely holding the coat together with maybe some legs coming down. So, what brings you out here, travelers?
Well, we were out to honestly take out a frost giant, but that job is done, so we're just looking around. And really, friends, we know you're kobolds. There's no need for the pretense. Let's just be honest with each other, alright?
And the Dragonborn kind of looks down and kind of frowns, and then you hear another voice from within the trench coat, and the voice says, "Damn it, Holgi! I told you to work on the voice. I'm doing the best I can."
I mean, the little hands in the middle didn't help either.
Huh? And the hands quickly vanish from sight.
She's a bit of a nitpicker. Forgive my friend.
And so, the top end of this tall Dragonborn goes end over end, and the middle one has seemingly pushed him and shoved him off his shoulders, and the middle himself has hopped down and says, "Well, I'm glad that you guys took care of the mammoth for us."
Oh, we haven't. He's sleeping.
What?
Is he vicious, or could we tame him?
Shh. He's very vicious. Quiet. He's not awake yet?
No, we
no.
decided not to wake him.
We gotta get out of here.
Oh,
Okay,
hold on.
Snorp, let's go. We gotta
Hold
go.
on. Hold on a moment.
What?
We told you why we were here. We would love to know what you are exactly doing here, especially since you don't seem to want to be here very much.
Well, we were chasing some prey, and well, he ran in here, and then we kind of got stuck.
Ah, the old living on a prayer ploy.
Yeah, but gotta be quiet. I think it's time that we make our way out.
Well, Adriana, I have no qualm with these friendly kobolds. But before you go, is there anything else you can tell us about this cave and the things that are in it?
Well, it was kind of empty when we got here. But if you want some whale, he points over to the room ahead. There's a whale over there.
Well, that sounds like a whale of a tale.
The tail's gone.
Of course. Well, Adriana, unless there's anything you'd like to ask our friends, I see no reason to stand in their way.
No, me neither. Go ahead and be safe.
All right. And they huddle back up, and they instead start to wrap themselves around in the trench coat and start to make their way forward through the room ahead of them. Not going through the main room with the mammoth, because that mammoth just scares the shit out of them. So they're just going to move forward.
Adriana, while we're over here, I do believe Vega said something about a treasure chest above table. Is that in the a separate room from the main room, correct?
From the main room, yes. You did not see a treasure chest in that room.
Well, since we're already over here, shall we check it out?
Sure. It doesn't sound like the mammoth has woken up, so I guess they don't need us right now.
I mean, truth be told, besides helping defend us, I wouldn't be much help with the mammoth otherwise. Let's go check it out.
All right. So you guys have the choice of the door on the left where the kobolds just came out of, or the choice on the right where the kobolds went.
I think let's try the right. What do you think?
I agree.
Righto.
As you start to approach the wind from the blizzard raging outside just kicks in a nice waft of this rotting whale that's in this room. As you turn the corner and you see this whale on its side, incision made towards its belly and fat extracted from it. You see 3 barrels, huge barrels, and one chest that seems to be about 6 foot tall and 10 foot wide.
Is the chest locked?
Let's see here. Go ahead and make a perception check to see for any traps or any sort of special locks.
19.
So you don't catch any traps or levers or any sort of locking mechanisms on it.
All right.
However,
Oh boy.
as you start to look around towards the backside, the hinges seem to be frozen over.
Ah. Well, Adriana, do you think you could try and whack these hinges a couple times with your hammer to get the ice off so we can open up this
Sure.
mystery. Very good.
Andy will give it a whack with her hammer.
Okay. Go ahead and make a strength check.
That's a 6.
So the first strike that you land on these back hinges, you quickly realize that this ice is quite hard. And you can still chip away at it with this hammer, but it might take a little bit more time to get the whole 5-foot wide ridge freed from this. Essentially, it's connected to the wall, essentially, down below the gap. So you can take the time to continue to do so and try to break it off. But it's going to be a commitment.
This is very, very thick ice. I might have trouble getting this done in a reasonable amount of time. It might take a bit.
All right. Well, perhaps I'll take a page out of Silas's book. I cast prestidigitation on. I guess I'll have to pick a hinge. On the hinge closest to me. So that there's a like a kind of a small flame emanating from my hand. I can't do a big flame, just a small one.
Yeah.
To try and melt the ice a little bit.
And that definitely has some effect as you kind of hold the flame there. However, as you kind of get a look down below and into the gaps, that the ice is actually packed in from the bottom going upwards, which is 4 feet high, and it's essentially encased or entrapped this chest to be on the back side of this wall. So it's a lot of ice to melt to be able to free that mechanism.
Well, Adriana, as much as I hate to admit it, I think we'll have to wait to investigate this until we have more firepower, if you will.
Yes, it certainly seems that way. Shall we go back?
Yes, let's.
All right. In the meantime, what are the rest of you doing in that other room?
I'm just ready to play a song when the time comes, but I'm waiting for Zizix to finish up, as well as keeping kind of an eye on Carcass.
All right. And Zizix, what exactly were you finishing up on again?
He was trying to figure out how to get the ruin without destroying it.
Gotcha. Go ahead and make a. Let's do insight.
Yeah, flat 10.
Obviously the safest way would be to get some climbing gear and ascend to the top of the throne and take a nice fine saw and just start carving. But without those tools, this might be a very crude practice.
Good thing Zizix has the right tool for the job.
Aha.
Zizix is going to turn and say, you know, this is going to take a while. I guess here's our options. We go and try and find the people and save them? Or I kind of stay behind, work for an hour or two, just to get this? Again, I kind of hesitate wanting to destroy it, but you know, it's really a crapshoot.
Well, those people are already dead, clearly, so I think we have the time.
Well, I mean, I've survived this long. Anyone could.
Yes, you have survived. You're very resourceful. But we've got the Tin Man leading 2 children. Don't know how we let that happen. Vega, I trust Vega, and Clara, who obviously is far more talented than the others. But personally, I think as soon as we summoned a blizzard, they were all dead. Unless they hollowed out Vega and decided to climb inside for warmth.
You know, those guys are pretty resourceful themselves.
Lysander's resourceful. Mr. I want to make a new god and then fight God. Resourceful.
Yeah, don't let that fool you.
It's not a word I would use, but point is, if they're still alive, then I don't know if we need to be rushing after them, and if they're dead, well, we absolutely don't need to be rushing out for them. However, I'd prefer a quicker solution, but if it's going to take an hour, then it's going to take at least an hour.
I mean, unless somebody has a way to, you know, imbue magic into an object themselves. But I don't suspect anyone here knows how to do that.
Can't think
Above
of
table.
anyone.
Above table, Sam, as Zizix is an artificer, would he have an idea of how to transfer that magic to something else?
Considering that this is old giant magic, which in the previous campaign we kind of established is separate from the school of magic that exists currently in Faerun, it would take some time to research, but eventually possible. And
Okay.
would probably take some resources monetarily to be able to
Right.
transfer all that.
Zizix is then also going to say, and you know, I mean, then there's the other issue of keeping it frozen. Not really sure how to do that either.
Then perhaps it's simply best we destroy it.
Before we do, let me take some notes. Zizix is gonna take out his journal, write notes of everything that he identified with the
Okay.
ruin and everything of that nature.
Is Lek back yet?
Yes, you guys would be coming back around this time.
Just a heads up, Silas. It could take him 1 hour or 12 years to finish his notes.
Well, I don't have that much time.
No, I'm done.
Ah, excellent.
Wonderful. So, are we on board with destroying this thing? I don't think any good could come of it.
Yes, I'm with you. I am ready to do just that if all of you are.
Same.
It may take a bit of time on our own, but
I can cast Shatter. Works very well in elements like ice.
does that emit a noise?
Oh, yes. Absolutely terrible noise. It would probably hurt or kill the mammoth, which I once again forgot about. Man, I'm forgetting living things when I think about this spell too often. Well, twice. So perhaps we should deal with the mammoth first.
Well, again, if I have the trust of the party, I have a few ideas.
You have all of my trust. I don't know why we're dragging our feet otherwise, to be honest.
Adriana, do you trust me?
Yes, of course.
That's all I truly needed to know. And Salas would like to try and cast Animal Friendship with his lute to try and also wake up the mammoth if possible.
Okay. Is that a spell save DC on my end?
Well, if, yes, I do believe so. A wisdom save of 14.
Thank you.
But if the beast has an intelligence of 4 or higher, it just fails.
Yes. All right, and you have cast Animal Friendship, and you start strumming on your lute, and the mammoth begins to stir. It rolls over to its side, its eyes facing away from the party, and its trunk starting to move around and sniff. Stands up and he turns towards you. And he says, "You are all to blame for this."
Ah, shit.
Oh god, it talks!
Balls.
Oh, are you intelligent?
Some would say that.
Well, this will make things a bit easier. We are not to blame. I am a friend of Garagi.
Garagai.
Apologies. It's my accent.
I have not seen you before. You look much too small for him.
We have a very unique friendship.
He did
He
not
aided
like
me
small.
when I first arrived.
First arrived where?
In the 10 Towns. I come from Cormier myself.
I'll have you roll deception for that really quick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things I'm good at. 21.
And he looks back to the rest of the party and he says, "And these people are with you?"
Yes, they accompanied me. I wanted to find a way to thank Garagai for what he had done for me, and I had heard some folk were coming after him, and I arrived all too late.
They came. 2 moon ago. But I could not help him. I was not here.
There is no blame for you, noble creature. But the people who did this will be back. They're after that throne in the rune. That's why I awoke you. Gargai had spoken fondly of you, and I wasn't certain. But we need to destroy this. Would you be able to aid me?
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
That's 26, so that's better than my deception.
And he looks back towards you and then looks at the throne. And he says, "If Garakai can't use it, then nobody should."
Thank you.
And then he starts to get up and takes a couple of paces backwards, and he says, "Move."
You heard the creature? Let's move out of the way. And Silas will kind of try and shoo Zizix, whose computer just died on them.
Okay.
And he will move out of the way.
All right. You're good. Ow. Cats like to jump on my lap and claw when they land. That's fun. So as the way has been cleared between the mammoth and the icy throne, the mammoth will begin a charging attack. Let's see how he does here. Okay. He charges with all his might, and he makes direct contact, and that deals 32 points of bludgeoning damage. And you hear the crackling sound of the ice starting to give way as he's landed a massive blow, and then he starts backing off further and turns around and starts to gain more ground. He tries again. This time he is unsuccessful, as it doesn't seem like he hit it in the correct spot to where it would be most vulnerable to be able to break. He deals no damage this turn, and you see him kind of drop down to one knee, as it were, and catch his breath. That one hurt.
I understand. I have absolute faith in you. We must avenge Garagai here. We must prevent this from falling into the wrong hands. And if I can, I'd like to grant the mammoth inspiration.
Yeah, I think that would be fine. Let's see here.
So that's a D6 should they miss again.
Yep, they did miss. So, upon the second attempt or the third attempt, with your kind words, does 22, 35 points of damage on that. And that's enough to send the back of this icy throne falling backwards, separated from the seat of the throne, and it crashes into the ground below. And it seems to be in many pieces, not crystalline shards, but random breaking pieces of like 3-foot chunks of ice.
Would it be safe to say the room was destroyed upon the impact?
Let's go ahead and make a percentage roll on that. Go ahead and roll investigation. So you actually don't see any remnants of the rune. It seems like a number of pieces got bounced around and shuffled and perhaps flipped over on their sides.
And is the throne fully destroyed at this point, or at least done enough of?
Can make an Arcana check, or somebody else can if necessary.
I could do it or you could, Lek. Do you want to see if this throne is still emanating any magic?
Of course. I'm glad you have such confidence in my arcana abilities. 5!
That was a mistake. And I'll try to do it myself, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead. As Lek comes to the realization that that seat is still cold, and that's the feeling, the sensation that he had when he was sitting on it. So that thing is still powerful.
A 13, not much better.
A 13, you're able to take in Lek's considerations of his theory. But you would think that the rest of the chair being separated from the rune would be putting it out of commission.
I don't know. It still felt as if the same power was there. I say better safe than sorry. Let me cast Shatter on the bottom part of the throne. That should do the trick, I think.
Won't
Can
that
I have
also
the
send
mammoth
ice
step back
shards?
to make sure it doesn't get hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and your safety. Of course, I meant after the mammoth steps back. Noble beast, so sorry.
Andy will kind of lead the mammoth if you'd like to follow her to stand behind something.
This is my house. I know where I should stand.
What is your name,
Right.
noble beast?
My name is Nohu.
No. It is a pleasure to finally meet you.
Nosu.
Norsu, apologize.
I'm sorry.
No! As in, I apologize to you. Again, my accent. Perhaps when we finish here, you could perhaps do me one last favor.
Yes.
Wonderful. If you feel safe with it, could you perhaps help us back to Dugan's Hold?
The city close to here?
Yes, we have some friends who were journeying back, and we want to make sure that we're there to greet them.
And he takes a look at you, and he looks at your friends and says, "I will never return to Dugan's Hole. They tried to kill me just 4 moons ago. That's why I could not be here for Gargai. They had me trapped. And I must protect his gravesite, his tomb, as this will become. It is my cross to bear."
I will not force you, Norsu. It is a noble thing you are doing.
Thank you.
Lek, are you coming along on that shattering?
Yes, above table question. Can we also hear and understand the mammoth?
Yeah, it's speaking common, plain as day.
Okay, sweet. Well, yes, of course. Before I get to the shatter, which I, as you can tell, I'm very eager to use. Norsu, the two people that you and Goragai had, if you don't mind me asking, why were you holding them here?
We did not bring them here. Wolves did.
Ah, why did the wolves bring them here?
Oh no. Wolves do their own thing. I don't like them much. They were not Gargai's pets.
Oh. If they were not Gargai's pets, then what were they?
I believe they were instruments in his downfall. Perhaps if you
No.
were to leave this site, you could help take care of them.
They were not instruments in his downfall. His death was from small folk like yourselves.
Oh. Recently?
2 moons or so ago.
Interesting. I think there's more afoot at Dugan's Hole than we've been led to believe.
Yes,
We will have we'll have to thoroughly investigate to avenge my friend here.
Yes. But wolves seem to be scavengers, and the mammoth is going to take the insight check, knowing now that you guys were led here by the wolves, and does really well with its critical thinking skills. And this mammoth pulls out a pipe and a Sherlock Holmes hat, and he begins to speak and says, "Those wolves knew I was here protecting Goragai. They may have sent you here for me to kill you and then for them to pick up on the scraps, since I would toss your corpses outside of this lodge for them to feast on."
That seems accurate. They were shifty, you might say.
Indubitably.
And you wouldn't want to gore those wolves?
Technically, they have not harmed me any. They have just
I
wronged
understand. That is the laws of nature. I understand. I will not hold anything against you, Rosu.
you. So, as you guys take the time to consider what to do next, we're going to go ahead and take a short break here. Same thing. A structure is going to fail a Constitution throw. So, go ahead and roll damage.
$18.
And with that, the seat just shatters into crystals. If you want to describe it yourself, go right ahead.
Okay. So Lex spreads his feet shoulder width apart, and using some very somatic movements with his pointer fingers, he makes a triangle shape and then thrusts it towards the throne, and this 10-foot spear encircles the bottom portion of the throne and slowly...
Cut off. Right there, it's slowly.
Slowly but sure. Sorry, I started using both my hands to gesture.
The curse of being an actor.
I've done that so many times.
Slowly but surely, a sound emanates from the middle of the spear, getting louder and louder and louder. This loud ringing, like the clanging of 1,000 pots, until finally, the throne in the middle just explodes into tiny shards the size of paper clips, because those totally exist right now, and just spreads everywhere. Everyone immediately has to duck for cover, as it's such a great sight.
Everyone make a dex saving throw.
Also, whoops.
You kind of spoke into existence with everyone ducking for cover.
Sure did.
22.
17 for Zizix.
7 for me.
You're actually going to be safe from this.
Oh, right, because it's my spell.
Yep. And then Carcass and Andy. You guys there?
Looking at the logs, I see Carcass rolled a 12 on their dex save, but I'm not seeing anything for Adriana.
Yes. 12 will be enough to avoid, and so far everyone is past that. I don't know where Andy is. But in any case, everyone so far has saved successfully and dodge out of the shard's way.
Sorry about that, everyone. I meant to say take cover, but I got a bit excited. Apologies. Or as Silas would say, apologize.
It's my accent.
Yes, a burden I also bear. Sorry, friend. I couldn't resist.
I'm here.
So, what would you guys like to do now?
Well, with that taken care of, if the thing seems rightfully shattered, I don't know if it's wise we exit the same entrance, or exit out the same way we came in. Those wolves may be waiting for us. Norsu, is there another way out?
And he looks and he says, yes. Through the door with the stench of whale.
We should circle back and check on the other entrance because we did send our friends out that way.
It wouldn't hurt for us to go check on them then. And then we'll head out the whale entrance, you said, Norsu?
Yes.
I do thank you for all your assistance. Destroying this would have taken significantly longer had you not aided us so greatly.
You brought up a good point that no one should use this if Garagai can't use it.
Has anyone else ever used it besides Gargai, Norsu?
Not in my whole life.
Very good.
And
Well,
so... Go ahead.
I was just saying, well, we should go check on them then.
Yes. Go find your friends.
Let us depart.
And you guys make your way through the small hallway and hang a right, where the air is just filled with the stench of rotting whale blubber. And you see
were we
the...
not-
Huh?
Were we not checking to make sure our friends didn't like double back, or?
Oh, I thought you were talking about friends with your kobolds.
Oh, I didn't know about the kobolds.
That's right.
No, I was talking about Vega.
Gotcha.
The
So you
crew.
guys make your way back towards the main entrance through the icicles. Alright. Let's see. You take a peek outside and it is very, very dark. The wind is howling. The snow is just pouring over, and you've seen that it's already laid down about maybe 3 or 4 inches in the first 30 minutes. This thing is really, really powerful. Go ahead and make perception checks if you would like to try to see anything on the horizon. It would be
Well,
a
I not
disadvantage.
failed it.
9 for luck.
$11 for Silas with the disadvantage.
7 for Zizix.
Carcass got a 16.
With that, was that everybody? Are we missing one?
Carcass?
Oh, Carcass got his. Nope, that's everybody. Okay. But with that, you're not able to see anyone on the horizon. They left probably about 30 minutes ago, and they were making good time until this blizzard came, but they're out of sight. You don't see the wolves either.
Back through the whale hole.
Which, as you turn around and start facing the door, you see the whale hole is immediately on the right of the entrance that you just came out of.
Yeah. Well then. Did we need to peek inside for anything, or?
Well, there is oh yes, there is a large chest in one room, but it's definitely frozen shut. Norsu, is there anything important or valuable we should get out of the chest before we go?
Norsu is currently back inside by Gargai's corpse.
Oh, right. So there was a chest Adrian and I could not quite open on our own. A large treasure chest that I don't know if with our combined efforts we could check it out or not, or if that would displease Norsu or not. Just thought I'd mention before we leave altogether.
We
I
could
imagine
always take a
Norsu would
look.
be unhappy.
Absolutely. Zizix, would you be able to use any pieces of the whales to make anything?
I mean, I can always try.
Go ahead and make an intelligence check. Both Silas and Zizix as they're contemplating the uses of the whale.
Just straight intelligence or something in particular?
I think I would just do intelligence for this one. There's not really a streetwise, which is what I would normally use for this.
7.
And it's 7 for me as well.
You guys think there's definitely a bunch of uses for some whale remnants. The first thing that comes to mind is obviously the blubber. Could be quite useful if it were to be harvested and brought back. Could sell for a pretty penny.
I don't know how much blubber we'd be able to take back with us, but we could send someone down at a later date or find a bit more muscle in return. However, I think Norsu's made it pretty clear he's not willing to give us a ride. It was a shame, really. I was really looking forward to riding a mammoth.
Well, so I suppose then, if there's nothing else, we can be on our way?
Yes, I'd say so.
Very well. I'm ready to leave if you are.
All right.
Does the whale look?
When you peer inside that doorway, what'd you say you wanted to look at? What part of the whale?
Just to see how rotten it looks.
It looks like it's been dead for a few months.
Okay, I would like to run
Oof.
inside and try and pull a big handful off.
Go ahead and make a dexterity check as you enter the doorway. And you see the three kobolds kind of peering outside from the corner of the door.
That's a 15.
You're able to spot them just in time to not immediately trample one. And they all collectively kind of scream, "Ah!"
I will scream back at them, "Ah!" as I run past with my hand extended to try and get the big handful of blubber.
And with you screaming at them, they start going, "Ah! Ah! 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 We're under attack!" And you, meanwhile, make your way right up to the whale, to its incision point, and you grab a handful of blubber. And you got it in your hands, and it's very, very malleable, very slick and oily.
Okay, I'm very happy about this turn of events, so I will walk back out to where everyone else is eating the blubber.
Oh.
And Carcass,
I'm very hungry. No one has fed Carcass in a while.
and Carcass emerges speaking with a mouthful of blubber. That nobody has fed Carcass in a while.
Yes, I do apologize about that. Had things gone south with the mammoth, absolutely, we would have had far more food for you.
It's okay. I have a whale now.
Well then, perhaps we should make our way back to Dugan's Hole. Or to it for the first time. We never did stop by.
Indeed. And I do have some questions I want to mull over regarding exactly who might have chopped up the old giant there.
All right. As this blizzard continues to rage on, I would like whoever is leading the party to make a survival check and a marching order.
I can lead again.
Okay.
Our fearless leader.
My survival check was at 11.
Okay.
Maybe a bit more fear would help you next time.
And then what is the party structure? Is it Andy, then Silas, Carcass, Zizix, and Lek? Or how would you guys like to be orchestrated?
I think Carcass should take up the rear, Andy in front. I can go behind Adriana if needed. Lek perhaps in front of Carcass, and Zizix right in the middle. You are the smallest, and I worry you might get lost in the snow.
Seems like a fair plan from a fair mind.
Well,
All
it's more so that you get eaten first.
Oh, don't worry. I wouldn't let anything like that happen to you, Zizix.
Yes, Sticks, maybe you should stick in the back with me. I will protect you.
Yeah, I think I will do that.
All right, I will switch places with Zizix.
All right. So, as you guys begin to go through this blizzard, It's very intense. It's very much the strongest one that you guys have been through. As the wind just cuts right through the heavy winter clothing, and you feel the temperature continue to drop and drop. Andy, you think you're sure of which way you're going, but then you start to question yourself on your directional skills, as it's very dark outside, and any light sources that you try to extend out to see deep into the night, you're just not able to keep it lit, and you have to keep it sheltered and hidden between your winter clothing. But even that allows more of the cold air to draw inwards. What would you like to do with this storm getting stronger?
Andy's gonna say, I don't know that we should keep traveling in this. I'm not positive I'm going the right way.
Well, where, pray tell, are we gonna stop in this?
Fair point. Do you think we're headed in the right direction?
Well, if you're asking me, I certainly am not criticizing your skills, Adriana, as I am very much so lacking in this particular department. Anyone else?
I've never been to Dugan's Hole, I imagine.
Probably not. It's a very poor town. I don't think you would have made any sort of attempt to go there for any reason.
Yeah, so I have no idea where we're going, and we don't have the wolves anymore. Do we remember anything from Free on a vague direction?
I'm sorry, what was that? I must have cut out.
No, would we be able to remember anything from Free, at least in terms of a vague direction, or maybe anything?
Oh, yes.
If he gave us any points.
Well, you had a road when you had Free, and Free told you where to go. So he didn't really point out too many landmarks. But you can try out, trying to look through the stars and trying the old nautical way of determining northeast, south, and west.
Yeah, I can give that a shot.
Okay. Have you ever sailed on a boat or tried to determine your direction from the stars in your character's past?
Is Cormier anywhere near the water?
Cormier, let's see, off the top of my head, it's inland, but let me double check. Cormier does have a bay in the Lake of Dragons that has an outlet past Westgate that heads out to the sea to the east. So it's roll a D100. Let's put it that way. Give it a 50-50 shot. 51 is a positive result.
Sorry, a bunch of dice just rolled. Give me one moment here.
You're fine.
Uh, 68.
I would say you have sailed in the past.
Yeah, I'm rich, but probably at one point. So yeah, I'll see if I can use the stars then.
Let's go ahead and get a survival check from that.
$16.
16. You're able to determine that the direction you guys were going was in fact off course. And you're able to make a slight correction. And as you try to instruct Andy on which way you needed to be going, you realize it's getting harder to hear the party members who are near the rear with the cutting wind just being so loud against your ears.
I'll just kind of guide Adriana by placing a hand like on her head and just trying to turn her, and then shouting back to us, "This way! This way!"
You will go that way.
All right. And you continue travel assisted by by Silas's guidance
Mush!
for the next hour or so. Let's see. For the next hour, we will make another survival check with Andy, rolling at advantage to simulate the assistance from Silas.
I believe in you, and I'll give her some inspiration.
All right, my highest roll is a 14, and how do I? Is the inspiration a D6?
Yes.
Yes, you would add a d6.
Okay, that makes it a 16.
Okay. And you veer off course yet again, but Silas is able to correct you using the stars that peek in through the cloud cover of this immense blizzard. But so far, as you guys have continued to travel, there's been no sign of Lysander, Vega, or Eclipse, nor the wolves.
Is
I do
it-
not mean to
Oh, never
Go
mind.
ahead.
My question was going to be dumb. I already realized it, so continue.
Now, I do not mean to discourage you, Adriana, but our friends are absolutely dead. So all that truly matters is that we make it alive.
I hope you're wrong, Silas, but we'll do our best to make it alive.
All right. And next would be another survival check with advantage.
Okay. Natural 20. So 24 total.
24, thank you. You guys continue on track for another hour, seemingly making good time, and as you start to continue in that direction, your visibility is still up to only 30 feet. As you progress for another hour, you see a single stake planted into the snow out of this white landscape that you're traversing. Find one stake.
Can I investigate it and see if it's a sign?
It's simple enough. You take a look at it and you see that it's about a 3-foot stake in the snow, and it has a ribbon tied around it, and it says DH on it.
Well, it appears as though you led us correctly. Congratulations, Adriana.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks for the help.
Oh, any fool with immense intelligence can tell which star is facing north. Perhaps we should get in, get ourselves warmed by a fire, and
Yes.
collect a reward if able.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
I second that.
So I would like you to make a perception check to try to locate the next stake.
Four.
I got a 13.
What about everybody else?
Nat 20, so 21 for me.
Sorry, what was that?
15 for Zizix.
All right.
And the carcass got an 11.
Lek will be able to pinpoint it first as he spots the next stake about 20 feet away. Covered in snow, but the ribbon flails into the wind, allowing for him to spot it from a distance.
Ah, look over there, friends. I think I see the next one. And I start trying to walk in that direction.
And you will head that way too?
Excellent work, Lek. That's the snow.
Even a dog finds a bone sometimes.
And now the stakes are placed a little bit closer together, and you start to follow those stakes inwards towards town, and you see that this town is just broadsided by just piles of snow. Lights coming in from inside as people have their fires lit. You find yourselves on the outsides of town walking by very barren-looking building after barren-looking building. Just real minimalistic, this town of Dugan's Hole.
I'm not going to lie, I feel minorly guilty about this.
Well, truth be told, the blame probably rests on Adriana's shoulders. Very poor leadership letting you climb up on that throne.
Ah, yes, fair point. My guilt is alleviated and passed on to Adriana. Enjoy.
Adriana killed our friends, so I think it's best that we go have a drink in their honor. Where's an inn?
I do not know that they're dead.
Well, if
Well,
they're here, they be at the inn.
they certainly
true.
aren't
We should
alive.
check. You have very little hope, don't you?
I'm a realist.
All right. So, I would like you guys to make an investigation check at disadvantage because it's the middle of a blizzard to try to locate an inn.
I got a 9.
11 for that.
12. 12 for Silas.
11 flag.
All right. So you guys are not able to locate an inn. There's very little signs that have withstood the blizzard or are visible. They might be covered up, and you go as far as to brush away the snow on the sides of some of these buildings. No sign of an inn so far. You do see a signpost that gives the main names of these streets.
This town is so small, does it even have an inn?
Can Silas just approach one of the doors and start knocking on it, or pounding, rather?
All right. And you knock on the door. And you hear a man answer from behind. It says, "Who is it?"
Silas Nouvel of Cormier. I come seeking Edgar Dermut.
And he says, "Come in. She's not here, but if you're not from here, it'd be hard for you to find this place." And he
Your
opens up the
generosity
door.
knows no bounds. Yeah, we'll step on in and I'll wave the
Yeah,
party
maybe we'll
in.
step in.
I'll follow.
And this very well bundled up man, this burrito, just kind of enters in here and or allows you guys entry. And he says, you're not from here, I assume?
No,
No.
far from it.
Hell of a time to make your way here.
These are hellish times.
Yes, we actually come to deliver a bit of news to Edgar.
What news is that?
Free found our party over in Goodmead and advised that some children had gone missing. We found and retrieved them, Silja and Finn, and sent them here with a few friends of ours. Has anyone come into town today? Perhaps also during this blizzard.
And he kind of looks down and he says, once the blizzard started to pick up, everyone just holds up inside of their own houses, so I wouldn't know if anyone new came into town. And if those kids, if they did make it, they'd know which home to go into. I'm kind of amazed you guys were able to trek out here from, where'd you say you came from?
Goodmead.
Goodmead. Well, at least you had a road to get here. It's probably not the worst way to travel during one of these things.
Yes, although we did get distracted for a moment, but we handled ourselves and got back on the right path.
Oh, well, that's good. I will say we don't get very many visitors. Dugan's Hole's a very small town, and quite frankly, it's very slim pickings around here. And if you're looking for Egra, she'd be at the speaker's house, and I can tell you it's a few blocks away, but quite frankly, I'm not going outside until this thing all blows over, if you don't mind.
I fully understand. Would you be willing to give us shelter for a moment?
Yeah, sure. I have no mind with that. And he says, I'm not worried about you stealing anything, because I don't have much.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
I understand. Yes, Adriana, show him our appreciation. Give the man 5 gold.
Oh, she'll do that.
And he says, wow, this is great, thank you. And
Of course.
says, I don't have any rooms, and he kind of motions back towards his, there's like this very thin little half wall structure, and he says, my bed's right over there. It's a quaint little existence. But if you don't mind, keep the fire going for me.
Of course.
With pleasure.
And he says, right, well, in the meantime, sorry I don't have any food to offer you either for 5 gold. That's quite a sum to try to seek refuge for the night, and I kind of feel guilty about that.
You do
Oh,
not
please
need to
don't.
feel
The shelter
anything.
is plenty.
Alright, well, it's pretty late, so I reckon we should get some rest and see if we can't find those kids by the time morning rises.
That sounds good to me.
Very good.
And with that, Andy is going to crash, and I am as well. I've had a really long day.
Okay. Cool. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Good night, Andy.
Good night.
I was honestly thinking about ending the session here anyway. If you guys would like to continue, though, I'm more than happy to do so.
I'm all right either way. We could do an early session this time and then meet up with everyone else next week, or we could continue going. I'm fine either way.
Yeah, I mean, this is super unhelpful because I'm saying the same thing, but I'm really I'm fine either way, too. I thought I would steal that, too, before anyone else took that line again. So, yeah.
No worries. It's just one of those things where, half the party's on one side of this this mission, that it would make sense if, they did or didn't make it back. We'll find out next week, and they could actually be here for them being found.
Well, I mean, aside from some pre-bedtime conversations, there isn't much else that I really wanted to do.
Yeah, if you want to have those conversations now, please have at it.
All right. Well, I will sit down by the fire near Silas, and I'll stare at him just for a couple moments, not in a creepy way. And then I'll say, Silas, I am curious. I couldn't help but notice recently you've been really propping Adriana up as leader of our group. And I don't know, I find it slightly amusing based on how you two went at it when we first joined. Do you have a purpose behind that tactic?
Oh, absolutely. Adriana may be a fool, but she's a noble-born fool. Her leading us makes the most sense, and it pisses off the Tin Man.
Oh, it most certainly does. You should have heard him go on and on when you left after proclaiming her leader. Last night, oh, he was not happy. So I presume you're not a fan of the Tin Man.
The Tin Man is harmless, but I'm not looking to die anytime soon, and if I followed every direction he gave, I would fail in that venture, now wouldn't I?
I suppose with this latest bit, I have to agree with you, though it may appear I'm riding the fence on this one, but I honestly wasn't a fan of the idea. I was just trying to help it go somewhere, just in case that's what everybody wanted to do. I suppose that's the ambassador and me playing the sides. Sometimes it does have its advantages, I will say.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with hedging your bets. I've been doing it my entire life. But I've reached a point where I have no more hedge in me. So now I need to pick a side and play very, very carefully.
Ah, I see. And, if you don't mind me asking, what's your goal? Silas, you're someone who strikes me as being incredibly ambitious and having a very specific plan for the future. I know you haven't known me that long, but I've come to view you as honestly, one of my better friends these days. And if you don't mind me telling me, what are your plans for the future?
Luck, you're right. We haven't known each other terribly wrong. But I suppose, like any sane person, my desires are very simple. I wish to be the divine ruler of all things.
Well, that is most certainly ambitious. And I will say, while it's hard for me to imagine ascending to such a lofty position, I think there are few people better qualified for it than you, my friend.
And I would fully agree with you. It's in my blood.
Indubitably. Well, I will say, given that we spent a good portion of above table, did we leave this escapade last night? Go the entire day until it's night again? Just to clarify?
So right now, you guys have burned through most of the night, and sun is going to be rising probably in the next 3 or 4 hours.
Got you. So we've literally just been trekking around almost all night and then hanging out at the giant igloo throughout the night, correct? Just this one long night?
Yeah, you guys only spent about 20 to 30 minutes at that igloo.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yes, well, as I do need some sleep, I think I'm going to turn in, but I do appreciate the conversation as always, Silence, and see you in the morning.
I'll see you in the morning, Luck. I want to watch the fire for just a bit longer.
Very good. Good night.
And
Good night, Luck.
as Lek bids adieu to Silas to say goodnight, the man who has allowed you to stay here, he shoots up and screams, "Ah! Ah! Ah! They're back! The voices!"
I do apologize, sir. We were simply having a conversation.
No!
What?
The voices in my head. I don't know what they're saying.
Well, that is a fascinating evolution of our situation, isn't it?
Lek raises an eyebrow.
Oh, he says, it's, I've never heard a language like this before. It's haunting, and it's repeating the same phrase over and over again.
What does it say, if you don't mind saying it out loud?
I do mind saying it out loud, actually. It would just bring me too much pain.
Oh, can you whisper it?
How about some charades?
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Is that just Luck or myself as well?
Both of you. You're both involved.
Balls, despite my decent persuasion, only an 8.
26.
Oh, God.
Thank
All right.
God.
He says, all right, I'll do my best. Dialogue field, more like man, going on.
Carcass, does that sound familiar?
Carcass, it sounds very familiar.
Yes. I think we should kill him now.
That seems a bit rash, Carcass.
Perhaps not now, Carcass. He is giving us shelter.
Oh,
Well,
okay. And I will slink off to a corner and pull out my great axe and sit in the corner, just holding it, watching him.
Carcass, where Where do you know this language from?
Is Zizix here? Can he hear all this?
Yes.
He's gonna say to Carcass. Carcass, is that the Yargle?
Oh, yes. They might be coming now.
Zizix will turn to the Silas and Lek and say, "Guys, this is bad news. We can't stay here."
What do you mean?
I have never seen Carcass afraid of anything except for this. They took him from his home, and I don't know what they did, but I don't want to be around to see that.
Can I cast Detect Thoughts on myself and focus on the gentleman and see if I could peer into his mind?
Whoa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. He must make a wisdom saving throw of 14.
Okay, he rolled a 6, making that a 7.
I just want to see if there's anything messing with him.
Yes, so you hear that same message just being repeated over and over, and you hear his inner monologue shouting to shut up, to stop, leave him alone, not again, that sort of thing.
And I don't, DM, I know this might be a bit more. Would I be able to detect maybe like how close they are, how much time we might have, or anything?
The signal is, the message that's coming in is strong. It's, but it's hard to say without a roll, to say whether it's because it's a strong signal because they are very powerful or because of their close proximity. So I would say an Arcana check would determine if you would be able to disseminate that information.
11.
Yeah, you can't really make heads or tails of which way would be the correct answer. They could be very close, or they could be very powerful and far away.
Then I'd like to use another spell slot to cast Suggestion and look to him and say, "Rest. It'll all be better soon."
All right, and that's another saving throw that he fails. And he says, I'll do my best. And he takes a deep breath. And he's still wincing while he's taking this breath, but he lies back, lays himself to sleep.
When he takes that breath, I cast Prestidigitation and produce the smell of cranberries.
Oh, I'm allergic to cranberry.
Oh,
I'm kidding. And he lays himself down with the pleasant aroma of cranberries wafting around him.
And he's asleep now?
Yes, he is on his way to sleep.
And is Adriana asleep?
Yes.
Then I'd like to look at Carcass and give the international symbol by taking a finger across my throat and give him the okay.
Oh, do you have an itchy throat?
No, but I feel we'll be a lot safer when he rests permanently.
Oh, it looks like he is going to sleep now.
You don't want him to wake up, though, do you?
But you said I cannot kill him.
That was then. This is now. Go ahead, Carcass. Adriana's asleep. She won't know.
I'm very confused now, so I'm going to give a quick look over to Zizix to see what his reaction is.
I'm sorry. What did Lex say?
Silas.
Sorry, what did Silas say?
Silas
Basically, I
said,
told him it's okay to kill him.
Zizix is just going to kind of wait. You said it's okay for him to kill the guy that was talking from the Yagul?
Yeah.
Just to make sure I'm understanding correct. Okay. Zizix is gonna like put his like hands up and say, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! We can't just kill this guy."
Sure we can. It's so easy. One quick swing of your good friend's axe there, his head will separate from his body, we'll take our 5 gold back, and then we'll just throw him in the fire. Carcass, you could eat.
That he is right, Sticks. I am very good at killing things.
He is right that you're good at killing things, but this, no. There's no reason to kill this guy.
He could be a danger to your friend from what I saw, and I do not wish for your friend to know pain.
This is not what Carcass has described as a Yargle. So I'm thinking this is some kind of telekinesis.
And what if they could control him? What if this man gets up in the middle of the night and tries to take Carcass away from us?
If he's under a mind control spell, that is not a reason to kill him. Let's just tie him up.
I suppose that is also a reasonable request. Do you have any rope?
Of course I got rope.
Very well. You can do the honors.
Zizix will actually hand the rope to Silas and say, "No, this is your dirty business."
Very well, if you trust me. Do you trust me, Zizix?
All I know is if this person is either missing or dead tomorrow, well, can't say it looks good for you.
People take their lives every day, but sure. And I'll just try and tie the crazy person up.
all right, go ahead and make that a survival check.
That's an 8.
Yeah, you feel you've tied him up sufficiently. However, you're not very stealthy about it, and he kind of wakes up and he says, "Huh, what are you doing to me?"
You were thrashing in your sleep, my friend. I simply wanted to ensure that you did not harm yourself or anyone else. Please, rest.
Go ahead and make a deception check.
14?
says, well, as long as you guys don't leave me tied up, I'm sure this will be fine come morning. But I have to say, there's only so much I'll do for 5 gold.
No worries, I have no ill intentions. You just need to rest and I'll let you go in the morning, or Adriana, whoever wakes up first.
Okay, this is fine. Alright. And he tries to reposition himself and says, okay, well, thank you, I guess.
Of course. And Silas will even stroke the side of his face and play with his hair a little bit and help him fall asleep.
It feels nice. I haven't felt that since Deborah left.
Deborah can't hurt you anymore.
Oh, she can't. And he sheds a couple tears and falls to sleep.
Ta-da!
Well, I speak in a tone where hopefully only Silas can hear me.
Uh-huh.
Well, you were right about one thing.
And what was that?
Regardless of what you say, people do follow Adriana's lead. Even Sizzix.
It's almost too easy.
Indeed.
Alright.
Well now, perhaps we should get some rest.
Yes, absolutely. Probably should have gagged him too. Well, hindsight.
I'll take the first watch if no one has any objections.
No, not in this case. Thank you, my friend.
Carcass, how are you? Are you gonna go to sleep with this man being tied up and restrained into his bed after he spoke that strange language you were familiar with?
No, I'm going to slink back into the corner where I can try and see him, and just hold my great axe out all night long.
So he's kind of, but his bed is behind a small partition. So if you wanted to keep him in sight, you would actually have to be closer to him. Unless you're fine with just watching the wall and waiting to see if he gets up.
Yes, I will go into the farthest corner and just watch that entryway to his little area and see if he comes out.
Okay, sounds good. So Carcass will not be resting tonight. Which, absolutely understandable. First watch goes to Silas, and what would you like to do during your watch?
Well, I'd like to make sure at least Zizix and Lek are asleep.
And you glance over, and they have gone off to bed. But you notice Carcass sitting in the corner, very much tense, and the shot of fear in his eye. Yes, thank you, Scarlet Vega, for the follow. Much appreciated. Welcome.
I'll look over to Carcass for a moment and speak and just say, "No worries, I'll protect you." Before going and staring into the fire for a little bit and mumbling to myself, and says, "You'll be there soon. I just need to wait a little bit longer, and then I'll come back and take what's mine."
Very good. And your watch goes by peacefully as bits of sunlight start to ascend over the in through the window. The snow, instead of just being a dark blob on the window, is now colored lightly to reflect that the sun is peeking through the heavy clouds overhead. You know you've only gotten about an hour and a half to 2 hours of rest.
Yes. I forget. Is Luck a half elf or a full elf?
Half.
Okay. Then I'll awaken Zizix for their shift.
All right. And Zizix, you are summoned for this part of the shift.
He hasn't moved, and you can check his throat. I did nothing of that sort. I'm going to get a little rest myself. When you finish and feel like you need more rest, simply awaken Lek. I'm sure you know how to handle this.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I do apologize if I frightened you, Zizix. I was simply trying to protect the caucus. I don't wish any ill will on any of you.
It wasn't that you were showing ill will to us at all. But it does concern me that you're willing to just kill somebody seamlessly without hesitation.
Have you ever played Dragon Chess, Zizix?
No, I don't spend my time playing games.
Well, a free lesson for you. Sometimes in order to advance yourself, you need to sacrifice a pawn. Then I'll ruffle his hair and move over to take a nap in a corner.
All right. And Zizix, what would you like to do on your watch as you see that the sun is out currently, but you hear the howling of the blizzard outside still maintaining its power?
I gotta make some potions. Make 2 of them.
All right. In Carcass, you see the familiarity of Zizix busting out his alchemy gear and set. Are you still sitting in that corner, grasping at your great axe?
Yes, I don't care what Zizix is doing today. I want to watch that opening still.
All right. Zizix, you take the time to create your new potions for the day.
And I'm also wanting to kind of look at the belt again.
Okay. What would you like to do with the belt?
Cast, I guess, detect magic as a ritual, but knowing Lex's interest on it, try to be very quiet, not my usual rain dance kind of act.
Detect magic, I think you've already cast on it.
Identify, sorry.
Identify. All right. So you identify this belt as the belt of dwarven kind. It requires attunement. You raise your constitution to 2, or you increase it by 2 to a maximum of 20. You have advantage on persuasion checks when interacting with dwarves. And in addition to those buffs, while attuned to the belt, you have a 50% chance each day at dawn of growing a full beard, if you're capable of growing one, or, if you already have a beard, a visibly thicker beard. And if you aren't a dwarf, you get the following advantages. Advantage on saving throws against poison. You have resistance against poison damage. You have dark vision out to 60 feet, and you can speak, read, and write Dwarvish.
Sweet.
Very powerful item indeed. Anything else?
I will don the belt.
Okay.
Let the record state he donned it at dawn.
At least 10 minutes after. With that, the rest of your watch goes by smoothly.
Cool. So, what time of day is this?
The sun has been up for about 2 hours now. 4 hours total have passed within the watch.
I think I would probably keep on the watch, I guess. Just because I'm a little suspicious of Lek and Silas at this point.
Okay.
That's fair.
100% fair.
How much longer would you like to keep watch?
I mean, I'd probably wake up Andy, like Miranda's Andy,
Mm-hmm.
but with her being gone, I guess. Sorry, instead of finishing my watch, I would probably, and waking up Lek, I would go and get Andy.
Okay. That's fine. Andy's watch, she would sit up and I'm sure she would try to talk to Carcass and try to console him a little bit to get some rest.
That's so Andy.
That's very
Thank you.
Andy.
And he would not pay any attention to her.
Ugh, disgusting.
But as her watch goes on and she keeps an eye off on everything, the sun starts to set. It is night after the 6 hours of watch that has happened so far. I don't know what she would do after this, so I'd say let's go ahead and put a pin in this session, and we'll come back to it tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next Wednesday, and pick up on this last leg of this watch and see what Andy would do in this situation. It seems kind of important, considering all things that have been schemed about tonight.
For sure.
I'd say.
Well, I hope everyone watching has enjoyed the show. It's a good little session, a little short-staffed, but I think it was still progressive nonetheless. I hope everyone had fun playing it tonight.
Yeah, it was super fun.
You avoided an encounter with the mammoth with a good lie, so
And I got to use Shatter, so that was fun.
Yeah, Shatter's a fun spell. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
If I can lie through my teeth and get Olivessa elected mayor, I can lie to anything.
You could lie to a mammoth and sell it snow. Well, in any case, appreciate Hawk again with the gifted sub. That's very much appreciated. Scarlet Vega with the follow. Welcome. And if anyone who has been listening is not a follower, please hit the follow button. Come back and see us next week on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 Eastern, 6 Pacific, or no, it's 5 Pacific. And come back and hang out. We'd love to have you. But in any case, this is the end of our show. I hope you all have a good rest of your week. See you next time.
See ya.
Good night.
Very well.
Physics is gonna tell on me.